Hi everyone. It's Wednesday night around 6:30, and sometimes I just have no clue what is driving this market, except of course the massive amount of money that the Fed is pumping into it. Uh, as you can see on this chart of the S&P, we went right through yet another area that should have had some supply and closed pretty close to the highs. I mean, it got up to 29.60, 29.59.75, and it closed 29.41. So that's only $18 off the high. I find it incredible that it could possibly get through this 29.75 to 3,000 area. But again, I just don't have a clue what drives this on a day by day basis now. So this morning we had some particularly poor news. On the GDP, the number was down 4.8%. It was expected to be down 3.5%, and it compared with a plus 3% year over year. That did nothing to put a damper on the market as Gilead came out with great news on their drug, remdesivir, and the stock closed 83.14 today, up 447, 5.6%. It's still below the roughly $86 high that it had a couple of weeks ago and several weeks before that. Google had earnings last night, and the stock was up 109 today, or 9%, which is, just terrific. So the Dow was up 532, 2.2%. The Nasdaq was up 307, which is 3.6%. The S&Ps were up about 76, 2.7%. And again, the big winner was the Russell, up 62.68, or 4.8%. That's just a massive number for that group. The market internals were very strong on the New York at 7-1 and 4-1 on the NASDAQ. Volume was, in fact, higher than it has been recently, and the move was pretty broad. The communication services, information technology, and energy were the bigger winners, and consumer staples and utilities were the lesser up, and I think utilities were actually down. I mentioned that energy was higher. Oil traded as high as 1678 today and closed at 1506, up 272, which actually looks like it really is trying to put in a bottom. Gold, which I did another video on a little while ago, and you can go to my YouTube channel and see that, finished the day at 1713.40, and that showed down 880. What you have to understand here is that the open outcry for futures ends at 2:30 for both the oil and the gold, and the gold was down 880 and in fact finished roughly $18 higher. Bitcoin was a real star today, closing at 88.25, up 1045, 1045. After the close, we had earnings from Facebook with a double miss, top and bottom, and yet the stock still rallied $19, up almost 10%. Microsoft beat both top and bottom. It had closed 177 and change, up $7.62, and in after hours it's trading up roughly another $8 at 185.36. Tesla had a double beat, top and bottom lines, solid performance for the company and solid guidance going forward. The stock had closed at 800.51, and that was up $31. And in the aftermarket, it got as high as 884 and change and closed 876, up an additional $70. That's over $100 gain today for Tesla. MasterCard up 19, also on a beat. Boeing, not a beat, but traded as high as about 146 and closed at 139, up 770. Starbucks and AMD both missed. Starbucks was down $1.83 or 2.3%, and AMD was down $1.55, 3.3%. On the Dow, we were 24 stocks up, 6 down. I have no idea, but this is the third day in a row that the only thing that has been down appreciably is Walmart. It contributed to today with a 30 Dow point loss. The only double-digit loser. Most of the other 5 losers were pennies compared to that. On the upside, we had a $72 gain Dow points in Visa. Apple followed with up 62. American Express and Boeing each contributing plus 53. Microsoft plus 52. But there will be a big addition in first thing in the morning for that one. And the home run of the day, CAPR. The stock closed 8.5, up $6.09 after trading as high as 11.08. So it was up 253%. This is an interesting one. It's a biotech, of course. So there's a COVID-19 element to it. But I also would remind people that this stock has been reversed not once, but twice. Most recently, 1 for 10, but a couple of years ago, 1 for 50. So this stock at $8.50 is still a pretty devastating destroyer of equity when you consider that the adjusted high in the stock because of those 2 reverses is 2,720. In any event, there were 2 other stocks that were down here today. Both of them, there were talk about bankruptcy. Hertz was one. It finished $4, down $1 or 20%. And Chesapeake, CHK, which finished 26 and high change, down 233 or 8%. And that one doesn't seem to have been hurt too badly, except that one was also reversed just last week, 1 for 20. So, you're really talking about $1.50 stock. All right, folks, it was a big day. Looks like it'll probably be a big day first thing in the morning. Apple reports tomorrow after the close. Have a good evening.